Not the first day, not the first week. It's when days turn into months, when months slide into years. That's when your spirit gets heavy. You start strong, full of faith, confessing promises, singing worship songs. But somewhere around the halfway point, the silence feels louder than your prayers. And you start wondering, did God forget me? See, the morning always got that in-between vibe. The darkness of night is gone, but the heat of the day ain't here yet. It's the pause, the waiting space. That's where a lot of us live, between promise and fulfillment, between praying and seeing, between sowing and reaping. And in that middle, mercy shows up. Mercy says, delay don't mean denial. Think about it. You ever wait for a bus that's late? You frustrated, checking your watch, tapping your foot. Feels like it ain't coming. But just 'cause it's late don't mean it's canceled. The bus is still on the route. You just gotta wait till it pulls up. Same with God's promises. Just 'cause you don't see movement don't mean he off schedule. His clock don't tick like yours, but it's always right on time. Fam, mid-morning mercy is this. God meets you in the delay. He don't shame you for being tired. He don't scold you for being impatient. He wraps you in grace and whispers, I'm still coming through. And when he shows up, the delay gonna make the delivery even sweeter. So here's where we lock in today. The blessing might be delayed, but it ain't denied. And if you still breathing, it means God's still moving. The bus is on the way. Yadawa, the harvest is in the ground. The promise is still alive. Don't quit in the middle. Mercy is covering you right now. Fam, let's ground this whole hour in one verse. Habakkuk 2:3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That verse is loaded. First, it says the revelation, the promise, the vision awaits an appointed time, meaning it's not random, it's scheduled. It ain't floating in uncertainty. It's on God's calendar. And when God sets a date, no devil, no delay, no detour can erase it. Then it says, though it linger, wait for it. That word linger means it might look slow, it might drag, it might test your patience. You might glance at your watch and wonder if God overslept. But the command is clear. Wait for it. Don't run off. Don't abort early. Don't trade the promise for a shortcut. Wait. And here's the promise tucked in the promise. It will certainly come and will not delay. To us, delay looks like lateness. But to God, delay is just alignment. What feels late to you is right on time to him. It ain't a maybe. It ain't a possibly. It's a certainty. Fam, the word makes it plain. The blessing may linger, but it ain't lost. The vision may stretch, but it ain't void. And mercy means God don't judge you for struggling while you wait. He strengthens you so you can hold on. The word is both comfort and command. It will come. It won't lie. It won't miss. So today, lock this verse in your spirit like an anchor. Every time impatience whispers, repeat it. Though it linger, Wait for it, it will certainly come. That's not hype, that's holy assurance. And if his word said it, you can stand on it, even when it feels like time forgot you. Fam, let's go back to that bus stop picture. You standing there, ticket in hand, route in mind, expectations set, 10 minutes pass, 20, 30. Folks around you start shaking their heads, walking off, calling Ubers. And now you feel that tension. Do I wait or do I walk away? See, that's the weight of delay. Not the silence itself, but the decision it forces. Do I still trust the bus is coming, or do I decide the schedule's a lie? That's the battle of faith in waiting seasons. Now peep this. The bus being late don't change the fact that it's still on the way. The driver ain't canceled the route. The wheels still gon' roll. But if you leave too early, you miss the ride you already paid for. Same with God's promises. Why? They still on the route. They still coming down the street of your life. But if you give up too soon, you walk away from what was already yours. And fam, let's be real. Sometimes other people leaving makes it worse. You see folks walking off, making their own moves, choosing shortcuts, and you feel foolish standing there like the only one still waiting. But what looks like foolishness in the moment gonna look like wisdom when that bus finally pulls up. That's how faith works. Faith is waiting when others walk away. Faith is standing in silence when doubt screams. Faith is refusing to trade the promise for impatience. And mercy is God's way of keeping that bus en route, even when you feel like it should have passed by already. Fam, don't leave the stop. Don't fold 'cause of silence. Don't abandon the wait. The blessing is delayed, not denied. And if you stay planted, you're going to ride into the very place God already mapped for you. Fam, let's flip the scene from the bus stop to the field. A farmer don't plant seed today and expect a full harvest tomorrow. He knows once that seed hits dirt, there's a process. Darkness, watering, waiting, time. From the outside, the ground looks empty. But underground, roots stretching, life forming, promise unfolding. Like delay don't mean death, it means development. That's how God works with your promise. He plants something in your spirit, a vision, a dream, a word. And you hype at first, checking the soil every day. But weeks pass, months pass, maybe years, and all you see is dirt. You start wondering, did it rot? Did it vanish? Did I imagine it? Nah, fam, it's just underground. It's growing where you can't see. 557 says, see how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. The farmer ain't stressed 'cause he knows seasons are part of the system. If you rush harvest, you end up with half-grown fruit. But if you trust the process, you reap in fullness. And here's the hard part. You can't microwave seeds. You can't shout them into instant harvest. Some promises take a season of stillness before they break through. And that delay is mercy, not punishment. God letting roots grow deep so when the fruit comes, it lasts. Fam, don't mistake silence for failure. Don't walk away from soil that's still working. Your job is to water with faith, fertilize with prayer, protect from weeds of doubt, and trust that in due season, you gon' reap. Galatians 6:9 says it straight. Let us not grow weary in well-doing, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So stand in the field even when all you see is dirt. The blessing might be delayed, but it's breaking through that soil right on time. Fam, let me paint another picture. You ever order something online and waiting on that package? You tracking the updates, refreshing your email, checking the doorstep like 3 times a day. The app says out for delivery, but the clock ticking and the truck still ain't pulled up. Frustration builds. You start thinking, did they lose it? Did it get stolen? Did the system mess up? But here's the truth. Just because the package didn't show when you thought don't mean it ain't en route. It's still scanned, still scheduled, still moving through the system. And when it finally arrives, the delivery don't apologize for being late. It shows up right when it was appointed. That's how God's promises work. They ain't lost in transit. They ain't sitting in some heavenly warehouse collecting dust. They are moving through divine logistics. And even when your tracking number looks stuck, heaven's system never glitches. The blessing is still stamped with your name. Psalm 145 verse 13 says, "The Lord is faithful to all his promises and loving toward all he has made." That means God don't misplace packages. He don't ship to the wrong address. And he don't need overnight delivery to prove he's faithful. His timing might stretch you, but it never fails you. Fam, don't confuse silence with loss. The package is still coming. And here's the mercy. Sometimes God delays delivery because he knows you ain't home to receive it yet. He waits till you're ready to sign for the blessing. Delay don't mean denial. It means divine coordination. So stop refreshing the app in panic. Rest in the truth that heaven's delivery always arrives. And when it lands on your doorstep, you're going to realize it was never lost. It was just moving on God's schedule, not yours. Fam, here's where many of us stumble. We confuse delay with denial. We hear silence and assume rejection. We see not yet and read it as never. And that misinterpretation breeds doubt, resentment, even bitterness toward God. Think about it. How many times have you prayed, saw no movement, and thought, maybe God said no? How many times have you looked at somebody else receiving their blessing and thought, maybe it ain't for me? That's the danger of delay. It messes with your interpretation. And if you ain't careful, you'll mislabel a waiting season as a wasted season. But hear me, denial and delay look similar on the surface, but they are worlds apart. Denial means it's not yours. Delay means it's yours, just not yet. Denial closes the door permanently. Delay leaves it cracked open for the appointed time. And the enemy loves to blur the line between the two. Remember Lazarus? Jesus waited 4 days before showing up. To the sisters, that looked like denial. They said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died." But Jesus wasn't denying them. He was delaying for a greater glory. What looked like no was actually a not yet. And the result was resurrection, not rejection. Fam, the biggest lie you'll hear in a delay is that God forgot you. But mercy says he ain't late, he's strategic. He delays to align circumstances, to mature your character, to maximize his glory. Delay don't diminish the promise, it deepens it. So stop misreading silence as a shutdown. Stop calling not yet a never. Stop confusing God's pause with God's rejection. The blessing is still alive. The answer is still yes. The delivery is still scheduled. You just ain't reached the appointed time yet. Fam, let's be real. Our culture got us allergic to waiting. We in the age of instant. 2-day shipping feels slow now. Microwaves replace stoves. Scroll feeds refresh every second. We train to expect everything now. And that mindset bleeds into our faith. So when God don't answer in the time we expect, we act like he behind schedule, like he forgot to check his notifications, like he owe us prime delivery on every prayer. But God don't operate on Amazon time. He moves on eternal time. And his timing ain't about convenience. It's about character. See, instant gratification trains us to chase speed, not substance. But God is not in a rush to hand you what you ain't ready to hold. He loves you too much to give you the promise before you built the capacity. That's mercy. Delay don't mean he dragging his feet. It means he protecting you from premature blessings. Think about it. What happens when you pull food out the oven too early? It looks cooked outside, but inside is raw. Same with your promise. God ain't gonna serve your half-baked destiny. He waits till the inside is ready, and the wait builds patience, endurance, gratitude, things instant gratification can never teach. But here's the problem. We confuse fast with faithful. We assume God slow means God silent. Nah, fam, he ain't forgotten. He's perfecting. He's aligning. And mercy holds you steady while the clock ticks. So the challenge is this: detox from cultural timelines. Stop measuring God by your stopwatch. His timing is kingdom timing, not convenience timing. And when the blessing arrives, it won't be rushed, it won't be raw, it'll be right. Fam, let's talk about what waiting really does on the inside. It don't just stretch your calendar, it stretches your emotions. Delay digs into your heart. And if you don't watch it, doubt, anxiety, and resentment slip in like uninvited guests. First comes doubt. You start whispering to yourself, maybe I heard God wrong. Maybe I just imagined it. Maybe the promise wasn't for me after all. That seed of doubt grows quick if you water it with silence. Then comes anxiety. You feel the weight of time pressing down. Every day you don't see movement. You feel like you've fallen behind, like the clock running out on your life. Anxiety makes you sprint in circles, wearing yourself out while progress looks stuck. And then resentment creeps in. You look at other people receiving their blessings, living what they prayed for, and you wonder why your lane's still blocked. You start comparing, start complaining, start feeling like God skipped over you. And that bitterness poisons your faith. But here's the truth: delay is the enemy's playground. He loves to take the silence and turn it into suspicion. He whispers lies in the gap between promise and fulfillment. God forgot you. God don't care. God changed his mind. But those are lies, and God ain't silent 'cause he absent. He's silent 'cause he's setting things in motion you can't see yet. Psalm 27:14 says, wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Notice it says, wait twice. That's not by accident. That's God reminding us the hardest part of faith ain't believing the promise. It's outlasting the delay. Fam, Don't let doubt, anxiety, and resentment hijack your waiting season. A delayed blessing is still a blessing. And mercy means God won't let your heart rot in the meantime. He'll strengthen it if you keep leaning on Him. Fam, let's be real. Impatience is dangerous. Because when the wait feels too long, we start scheming. We start creating our own shortcuts, trying to force what God promised instead of trusting His timing. And those shortcuts birth consequences that outlive the moment. Look at Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child, but years passed with nothing to show. Delay started weighing heavy. So Sarah said, maybe God need help. She handed Hagar to Abraham, and Ishmael was born. Now catch it. Abraham got a son, but not the promise. And that decision sparked generational tension that still echoes today. See, impatience don't cancel the promise, but it creates complications. You might still get to Isaac, but you gotta live with Ishmael. And that's what happens when we try to rush God. We birth blessings that look legit but lack longevity. They satisfy for a season but can't carry destiny. Fam, shortcuts always look easier, but they cost more in the long run. Settling for a relationship, God ain't sin just to avoid being lonely. Jumping into debt to get a lifestyle God ain't released yet. Cut corners on integrity to grab success faster. Those are Ishmaels, quick fixes that complicate your story. And here's the kicker. Mercy don't abandon you even when you birth an Ishmael. God still covered Hagar. He still loved Ishmael. But the fullness of the promise only came through Isaac at the appointed time. Meaning God's faithfulness ain't voided by your impatience, but His best is always tied to His timing. So fam, hear me. Don't let delay push you into shortcuts. Don't trade permanent promises for temporary fixes. What God said still stands. Isaac is still on the way. Don't settle for less just because you're tired of waiting. Trust the timing, because what God births in His season always outlives what you forced in yours. Fam, here's where the shift happens. You got to stop seeing delay as denial and start seeing delay as preparation. That pause ain't punishment, it's process. That gap between promise and fulfillment, that's God setting the stage, aligning the pieces, building you for what He already planned. Think about Joseph. He had dreams of leadership as a teenager, but before the crown, he had a pit, a prison, and years of waiting. If you only looked at the delay, you'd think the dream was dead. But in reality, every delay was preparation, teaching him humility, patience, wisdom, and strategy. So when the palace came, he didn't just have position, he had character to carry it. That's the micro turning point. You got to reframe the wait. Don't ask why it ain't here yet. Ask, what is God building in me while I wait? Delay is a classroom. Delay is a gym. Delay is training ground for destiny. And mercy is the teacher that don't flunk you for being slow. It coaches you through until you're ready. Romans 8:28 says, we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. That means even the slow seasons, the silent stretches, the pauses, they work for good. They prep you for the fullness of what's coming. Fam, this is the pivot. Stop fighting the delay and start learning from it. Stop seeing the pause as wasted time and start seeing it as sacred time. Because when the blessing finally arrives, you gonna realize it didn't just come on time, it came with you ready to hold it. So don't fold under the weight. Flip it. Delay ain't denial, it's divine prep. And you ain't just waiting for the blessing is waiting for you to be ready. Fam, here's what most of us overlook: God's timing is mercy. The very fact that he don't hand you every blessing on your schedule is his kindness protecting you. Because sometimes what you ask for too early would crush you instead of carry you. Think about a parent holding back the car keys from a 12-year-old. It ain't denial, it's mercy. The car is good, the gift is real, but the timing ain't safe. Same with God. He knows what you not built for yet, so he waits until you strong enough to handle it. That's love, not punishment. Psalm 103 verse 14 says, he knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust. Translation, God knows your capacity. He knows what you can carry and what would cave you in. And mercy is him saying, I'd rather hold the blessing back a little longer than watch it bury you too soon. Fam, if you got something delayed right now, don't just see it as God being slow. See it as God being strategic. That pause is him aligning the blessing with your growth. That wait is him making sure the environment won't choke the promise. That silence is him preparing you to hold what he promised without losing yourself in the process. And peep this, when the blessing finally shows up, you're going to thank God for the delay. You're going to look back and realize if he had handed it to you too early, it would have turned into a curse instead of a gift. Delay is disguised mercy. So here's the remix. Stop side-eyeing God's clock. His timing ain't an obstacle, it's evidence of his care. Every tick of delay is him saying, I see you, I'm covering you, and I'm getting it ready. And when it finally drops, you'll know it was mercy that kept it back until the moment you could actually walk in it. Fam, let's walk into John 11, Jesus and Lazarus. Word came to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. Now, if it was us, we'd drop everything and sprint. But Jesus waited 2 more days before leaving. And by the time he showed up, Lazarus was dead, buried 4 days deep. To Mary and Martha, that delay felt like denial. They said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. But peep what Jesus told them. This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory. Catch that. End in death. Death was part of the process, but not the conclusion. What looked like too late was actually right on time for resurrection. Fam, that's the power of God's delay. If he had healed Lazarus while sick, folks would have said, that's nice. But raising him after 4 days in the tomb, that turned heads. That stirred faith. That revealed resurrection power nobody had seen before. The delay wasn't denial. It was divine setup for greater glory. And here's what that means for you. Just because something looks dead don't mean it's done. Just because the blessing looks buried don't mean it's denied. Sometimes God lets things die on your timeline so he can resurrect them on his. And when he does, no one can deny it was him. Fam, don't panic when God takes longer than you hoped. Don't fold when the clock runs past your deadline. His delay is often the stage for miracles bigger than you imagine. Lazarus walked out the tomb, not just alive, but as living proof that Jesus was the resurrection and the life. So here's the remix. Delays don't kill promises, they amplify them. And when God finally moves, the testimony gon' shout louder than if he had come early. Mercy says he ain't late, he's strategic. Fam, let's rewind to Genesis 18, Joe YT. God told Abraham and Sarah in their old age, by this time next year, Sarah will have a son. And Sarah laughed. Not the joyful kind, the tired, sarcastic laugh. The laugh of somebody who prayed too long, waited too long, and low-key gave up. That laugh said, yeah, right, that promise expired years ago. But here's the thing, God heard the laugh. He called it out not to shame her, but to remind her he don't work on human clocks. Fast forward to Genesis 21, and Sarah birthed Isaac, the promised son. And her laugh flipped. She said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. The laugh of doubt turned into the laugh of fulfillment. Fam, that's what delay does. It makes the fulfillment hit different. When God finally comes through, the same mouth that spoke disbelief gon' testify. The same heart that doubted gon' dance. The same eyes that rolled gon' weep tears of joy. Mercy turns mockery into miracle. See, Sarah thought the delay was denial. She thought the promise expired because her body was past the deadline. But God don't check birth certificates when he speaks life. His word don't run out of warranty. If he said it, even age, biology, or logic can't void it. Delay ain't denial. It's just God waiting for the moment that proves it was him, not you. So fam, don't despise your laughing at God moments. He can handle your doubt. He can flip your sarcasm into celebration. And when he does, you gonna realize his delay was mercy keeping the stage clear, so only his glory gets the credits. So here's the remix. What feels overdue to you ain't overdue to God. And when it finally comes, you gonna laugh again. Not from disbelief, but from joy unspeakable. Fam, here's the deeper layer. Delay ain't just about time, it's about training. God uses delays like a gym uses weights. They stretch you, they test you, they build muscle you didn't know you had. Every not yet is a set rep. Every pause is resistance that strengthens your spirit. Romans 5:3-4 says, we glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Catch that progression. Delay ain't wasted, it's working. Tribulation builds endurance. Endurance shapes character. Character fuels hope, and hope anchors you in the storm. Think about marathon runners. They don't start with 26 miles. They train mile by mile, stretching lungs and legs until they can endure the full distance. Same with God. He don't drop destiny on you overnight. He lets you walk through waiting seasons so your capacity grows. So when the blessing finally lands, you got the endurance to hold it without breaking. Fam, we hate the wait because it feels like stillness. But waiting seasons are working seasons. God is building patience, stretching trust, deepen roots. And mercy means he won't let you skip the training that keeps you strong when the blessing comes. If he gave it to you too quick, you'd fumble it. But by the time it arrives, you're going to be so rooted that storms can't shake it, critics can't steal it, and doubt can't drown it. Endurance don't make the blessing lighter. It makes you stronger. So here's the remix. Delay ain't punishment, it's preparation. Every day of waiting is weightlifting for your spirit. And when God finally says now, you're going to realize the wait didn't weaken you, it weaponized you. Endurance is the blessing before the blessing. Fam, let's revisit Joseph, the dreamer. As a teenager, he saw visions of greatness, of his family bowing before him. But right after the dream, life didn't elevate, it collapsed. His brothers hated him, sold him into slavery. He landed in Egypt, far from home. Then came false accusations, prison bars, years of forgotten potential. By all appearances, the dream was denied, but here's the truth. Every delay was disguised development. In Potiphar's house, Joseph learned leadership. In prison, he learned endurance and integrity. In the waiting, he learned how to hear God clearly. And all of that training shaped him into the man who could carry the weight of the palace. The pit didn't cancel the dream, it prepared him for it. Genesis 41 tells us, when Pharaoh had a dream nobody could interpret, Joseph was called up. And in one moment, after years of delay, he was elevated to second in command over Egypt. The same brothers who betrayed him later bowed before him, just like the original dream. It wasn't denied, it was delayed. And the delay made the fulfillment undeniable. Fam, Joseph's story screams this: God's timing is precise. If the dream came too early, Joseph might have lacked the maturity to handle the power. But by the time it manifested, he had the character to match the crown. Delay didn't destroy him, it delivered him. So here's the remix. Don't mistake the pit for punishment or the prison for denial. They are pit stops on the road to purpose. And just like Joseph, your dream is alive, even if it feels buried under years of silence. God is not late, he's aligning. And when the moment comes, the palace gonna prove what the pit tried to hide. You were chosen all along. Fam, let's get practical. Patience don't just appear, it's trained. Just like muscles don't grow sitting on the couch, patience don't grow sitting in comfort. It grows in the reps of waiting. And the tools God gave us to build that muscle are prayer and praise. Prayer is the daily stretch. It bends your heart toward God's pace instead of your own. When you feel restless, prayer slows you down. When you feel doubtful, prayer roots you again. It's not just asking for things, it's aligning your heart with His clock. Every Our Father, whispered in faith, is a rep that strengthens your endurance. Then comes praise, the spiritual cardio. It keeps your soul moving, even when circumstances feel stuck. Praise flips your focus from delay to deliverer. It shifts your eyes from the calendar to the Creator. And here's the power of praise. It don't shorten the wait, but it sweetens it. It fills the silence with song instead of suspicion. Colossians 4:2 says, devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Notice that combo, prayer and thanksgiving. That's patience training. You pray with expectation and you thank Him even before the blessing shows. That rhythm builds trust in the unseen. Fam, you got to see patience like spiritual conditioning. If you only run to prayer in emergencies, you're going to stay out of shape. If you only praise when blessings drop, your endurance going to stay weak. But if you train daily, pray steady, praise consistently, you're going to find yourself waiting stronger, not weaker. So here's the challenge. Make prayer and praise your workout. Don't let delay drain you. Let it develop you. Lift the weight of waiting with prayer. Run the laps of delay with praise. And watch patience grow strong enough to carry you till the promise arrives. Fam, let's be honest. When the wait gets long, memory gets short. You forget what God said. You forget how far He's already brought you. And that forgetfulness fuels frustration. That's why one of the strongest storm prep tools you can use is a journal. Write it down. Every promise, every verse that hit your spirit, every prophetic word that confirmed something, every small answered prayer along the way. Capture it in ink, because the enemy loves to use delay to erase your memory. But when you got it on paper, you can flip back and remind your soul, God said this, God did this, and God gonna finish this. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. That wasn't just for preachers, it was for anybody waiting on a promise. Writing locks vision in place so doubt can't steal it. It gives you receipts when delay tries to whisper denial. And peep this, journaling ain't just recording, it's resistance. Every page you fill is you fighting forgetfulness. Every testimony you log is you building an archive of God's faithfulness. And when storms hit, you ain't scrambling for memory. You open the book and see proof. Fam, some of y'all frustrated because you're trying to hold a year's worth of promises in your head. Write them down. Make it plain. Build your own faith file. That way, when discouragement creeps in, you got evidence to throw back at the enemy. Nah, devil, I got it right here. God said it. God confirmed it, and he gonna complete it. So here's the challenge. Don't just think the vision, ink the vision. Don't just hope in your head, hold it in your hands. Keep that journal close, 'cause in long waiting seasons, memory gon' fade, but written vision gon' sustain you. Fam, let's keep it real. Sometimes the reason waiting feels unbearable is 'cause we overlook the small wins on the way. We so locked on the finish line that we ignore the milestones, and that robs us of joy while we wait. See, every blessing don't come all at once, though some come in stages, like steps on a staircase. And if you only clap at the top, you gonna miss the chance to praise on every step. Mercy means God sprinkles progress to remind you he's still moving, even if the full picture ain't arrived yet. Think about Israel in the wilderness. Manna showed up daily, not the whole pantry, just enough for each day. It was small, but it was steady. And that steady provision was proof God was still with them. Same with you. The little breakthroughs, the small answers, the subtle shifts, they're mercy crumbs on the path to the full meal. Zechariah 4:10 says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Translation, heaven throws a party even at the first step. So why are you waiting for the mansion to shout when you should be dancing in the foundation stage? Fam, small progress is still progress. That extra bill you managed to pay, that prayer that got answered in pieces, that one door that cracked open, all signs God's still moving. And when you celebrate the small, you build gratitude that carries you till the big arrives. So here's the challenge. Don't just wait bitter for the finish. Celebrate the fragments, clap for the crumbs, shout for the seeds sprouting. Because if God is faithful in the small, he's already proven he gonna be faithful in the big. The blessing may be delayed, but it ain't denied. And the small wins are your reminders in the meantime. Fam, let me lock this in. Delay, don't delete destiny. If God spoke it, it's stamped. Heaven don't do expiration dates. The promise is preserved until the appointed time. And when it finally drops, it ain't watered down, it ain't weakened, it's whole, full, overflowing. Isaiah 55:11 says, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." That means God's word can't boomerang back empty. If he sent it, it's gotta land. Delay don't change that. Fam, don't let waiting warp your faith. Don't let silence steal your strength. Don't let the enemy trick you into thinking a delayed blessing is a denied one. Nah, it's preserved. Mercy is keeping it fresh while you grow into it. And when it comes, you're going to realize the wait wasn't wasted. It was seasoning. Think about fruit on a tree. When pick it too early, it's sour. Leave it too long, it spoils. But harvest at the right time, it's sweet, ripe, perfect. That's how God times blessings. He don't hand them to you bitter, and he don't let them rot. He releases them ripe. So here's your charge. Hold steady. Stay planted. Keep watering with faith. Keep covering with prayer. Keep protecting with patience. The blessing is preserved with your name on it, and mercy is carrying you until the moment it arrives. Fam, delay ain't denial. It's divine timing. And when your moment comes, it's going to testify louder than every year of silence. Don't quit. Your blessing is closer than it looks. Fam, as we wrap this mid-morning mercy hour, I need you to breathe deep and catch this. Delay don't define you. Promise does. The wait may test you, stretch you, even frustrate you, but it don't cancel you. God's word is still alive over your life. And if he ain't said denied, then it ain't denied. Period. So walk out of this hour lighter. Shake off the heaviness of impatience. Let mercy hug you right where you are. You don't gotta fake strength, just stay planted. You don't gotta manufacture blessings, just stay faithful. And trust that when God says now, not a second too soon, not a moment too late, it'll hit different. Fam, Mid-morning is that space between dark and noon. It's not where you started, and it ain't the finish line either. But it's proof you're in motion. Proof the night didn't kill you. Proof the light's already breaking through. And that's what this whole hour was about, reminding you the delay is not a dead end. It's just a divine pause before the breakthrough. So step into the rest of this day with hope in your chest. God's timing is not a threat, it's a promise. His mercy is not late, it's intentional. And his blessing is not gone, it's just coming with perfect delivery. The delay gonna make the celebration louder, the testimony richer, the glory greater. Hold this truth like breath. Your blessing is delayed, but it ain't denied. And when it hits, you gonna see why the wait was worth it. This ain't your Sunday school. This is YNB Spirituals. Book closed.